Hi, it's Mike from Apollo, and we are at stage 3 of the Fit Model series of free evaluators. This is Business Model Fit, and this is the third stage. If you've got problem solution fit, if you've got product market fit, then you can entertain the question, do we have business model fit? And that might be asked differently, do we have a viable business? Can we scale? Have we got something here for the long term? Those are all the sort of things that come from having business model fit. And you're really in the search for not only creating value for your customer, but capturing value within the business. Because if you're capturing the value in the business, it's a different way of just saying, are we making margin on our business? Are we creating capital to reinvest in the business for growth, for talent, all the important things you need to grow? So business model fit evaluator, it's very important because it's going to give you some of these insights. So once again, I've used Replit as an example. I don't work for Replit. I've just used some mock data based on their business, and I've run it through this tool, which I'll show you in a second. So thinking about the Replit business, this is a dashboard for them on their business model fit that was created by this free tool. And you can see here that I've got like 3 kind of basic ideas inside of business model fit. Unit economics, that literally is like, once I've invested all that time, cost, and effort to build my widget, can I actually put margin on top? Do customers pay? Do they stay for that? Have I got the basic unit economics right? Because if I'm losing money on every product I sell, well, the second part, sustaining growth, well, you don't really want to sustain a negative business. And then the idea of capital and runway and future opportunities, all of those come from making sure that you do have the right cost structure, the right margin. You're almost thinking profit first. So the formal way we do that is with unit economics. So I ran some data, just some mock data on Replit on, their average revenue per user per month, some COGS, some margins. So cost of goods is something you'll hear people talk about. And obviously the margin is the net profit that's left once you've paid for everything. So we scored them at about a 26 out of 40. We got a score of 17 out of 30 for sustained growth and 21 out of 30 for enough capital and having runway. So runway is this concept of how long have we got with the cash in the bank and the revenue that we have, how long have we got to stay alive? Sometimes long-term businesses have a war chest of capital and they have very regular customers and they have sustained indefinite runway. Early stage growth companies, it can be a lot more wobbly than that. So this is why these kind of tools are really important. So if you do the question and the diagnostic in the evaluator tool that I'll take you through, this is the report you'll get. So you'll get some key findings on the basic unit economics. That really will be powerful to figure out where you can maybe improve those so that revenues, costs, and your margin start to look in the right shape and the right proportion. What's great about this is it gives you some risk factors here. So you might have cohort misalignment. And what's really important about how I've designed these is that this takes some of the context from the product market fit and puts it in to your business model fit. So that's why it can actually forensically attach to something specific in product when we're talking about the business model. So here's the big thing. Is you want to know these things early and before they actually start to really hurt your business. So these risk factors that are going to affect the resiliency of your business are clearly identified. But what's always really important here is your next steps. So we need to produce segmented unit economics. Now, just as an example, you might find that you're selling a product to a CTO, but you also have maybe a CMO buyer. And when you go to those different segments, maybe the unit economics of how you sell, what they buy, or your pre-sales effort are dramatically different, and they will change this graph. They're going to change your unit economics. So if you take twice as long and you need 10 times bigger sales team to sell to a big enterprise client, does that actually turn out to be worthwhile when you look at the contract, or does a lower lift for the mid-market make more sense? Great segment differentiation for your unit economics. So this is the report you get. Why is this so important? Because as normal, I have done my homework, and this really jumped out at me. So here's the crazy thing. You've got your problem solution fit, your product market fit. We're talking about business model fit. And this McKinsey report says the following. They found that 78% of startups that successfully build a product and find product market fit still fail to scale. So scale is a way of saying what happens when you have business model fit. The primary cause is a lack of industrialized scalability. Love that idea. Essentially a business model that breaks when moved from founder-led sales to automated high volume growth. So what it's talking about here is often many early stage startups, there's a great founder, has the vision, who can get customers excited. That's founder-led growth. But when you move to sales and marketing or product or platform-led growth, it's more than just the founders. And that often breaks. It's a growth motion that breaks. And what they're citing here is that break in the growth motion, because that's the only way you can scale. You get into a lot of trouble. So the crazy thing to think is not a lot of startups get problem solution fit. Not a lot of those startups get in product market fit. And what McKinsey is saying, that those that really achieve challenge after all of that is 78%. So if you are visualizing that as a funnel, that would be a massive drop off. So we better solve this. It sounds like it's a bit of a challenge. So once again, I've chained together each of these GPTs. So this is going to ask us for the input from the previous one, the one that did the product market fit. So we're going to paste that in here. And again, it's done on our friends at Replit. It's a tool that I love and use. And what we've done is we've loaded in all of that context from the previous step. And then what you're going to see here is it's going to get off to the races, asking us all sorts of questions. It's actually a pretty quick one because it's really asking you for a lot of numbers, maybe a little bit of context and validation. But the key thing is, at the end of this, you will be able to get a report like this and steer your business, not just capture value, not just create value, but actually capture value. That means not only revenue, but that green one there, margin. That's what you can have. So link to this free GPT, this beautiful little thing, that'll be in the comments, that'll be in the description. Give me some feedback. Tell me how you're doing with actually getting your business model fit. Is it proving challenging, as it does for most? I'm keen to hear your thoughts. That's it for now. I'll see you next time.